Where's that noise coming from? What is going on? Hey, Mr. Rodriguez. It's time to start the Mr. Rodriguez show. It's time to start the Mr. Rodriguez show. Oh no! Hey, third grade, it's the Mr. Rodriguez show. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me here. Hey, what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of keep going on with this form idea that we've dealt with our fish tanks, and it's going to lead us into, looking more three-dimensionally at objects. This is more of an opportunity to explore more three-dimensional objects. Instead of looking things as flat and as two-dimensional, form allows us to see things differently, to see different sides. Remember, form, the definition is how. How is that object that way? How is it shaped that way? One of my favorite things to do when I was a kid was to do something like this. And it helped me practice form, and it helped me learn parallel lines. It helped me learn straight line. So what we are going to do is we are going to draw a three-dimensional cityscape today. I think one of the best ways to get, examples of buildings is look at them. So let's look at some buildings. You can see behind me here that this is the New York skyline. This is Manhattan. I've actually walked through these buildings before. When I went to New York City, it was one of the most mind-bending things that I've ever seen before, because I grew up in a small town, a farming community, where we didn't have big buildings. New York had buildings that were gigantic, the biggest that I've ever seen. And there's a wide variety of them. They're different shapes, they're different sizes, they're different colors, there's just different designs. Let's look at another one. Here is Chicago, and this one's a little more close to home. This one has the old Sears Tower, the former Sears Tower, sorry. Which at one point was the tallest building in the world. You can see its shape, its size. Look at the way that the windows are placed compared to other buildings. Some towers have windows that are kind of like a wall compared to some that have your more traditional windows and stuff like that. Next, we're going to go to a city that's kind of, more close to home. And this is actually Detroit right here. And Detroit has some identifiable buildings in it. Again, lots of shape, lots of sizes, different ways that you can look at it, that you can address it. So I want you just to kind of take a minute. We're going to pan through these a little bit again. And I want you to kind of make note of shapes. And if you need to go look up other cities so you can get some different ideas of buildings, be my guest. All you need to have is your sketchbook and a pencil and a straight edge, a ruler, something that you can make straight lines with. And that's all we need. I'm going to go grab my stuff. We're going to get started here. Okay, so right here I have my sketchbook, I have my pencil, and I also have my ruler. Those are the only things I need for this. Now, compared to, let's say, a landscape where we always start out where we have a horizon line that goes at the bottom, we're not going to have a horizon line in this one. We're actually going to start off with, saying that the bottom of the paper is your horizon line. So you need to have your sketchbook set out landscape style like this. And what we're going to do is we're first going to start off making some, smudge right there, that's okay. We're going to make the front of the building. So we're not going to make them look three-dimensional yet. We're going to make just a bunch of basically squares and rectangles that connect to the bottom here. So I'm going to begin by making 3 rectangles here. skinny. They're gonna go up. I'm gonna go almost to the side of the paper right there. Okay. I'm gonna make another rectangle that's slightly taller, that has a space between it right there. Make that just a little wider. Just like that. And then I'm gonna make one that's actually connected right here. So I have 3 skinny rectangles, just like that. Now, in order to make these 3-dimensional, okay, I have to use some parallel lines. Now remember, parallel means lines that do not intersect. They don't cross at all. They stay on one path, even with each other. So I'm gonna start off with this right here. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna make it appear that we're looking up at the buildings, okay? So I'm gonna start off with this building right here because this will be a good example. I am going to make a diagonal line that comes right here. I'm gonna say, what's about an inch thick, okay? Just diagonal like that. And then I'm gonna make a vertical line that goes straight down. Okay, right there, now we have this building right here that appears to be 3-dimensional. We now have another side of this. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm always gonna make the rest of my diagonal lines exactly like this. They can't be any other angled. They all have to be parallel to this. So when I go over here to this guy, I gotta make sure it's the same angle as that one. So I make my line starting at the corner, draw it. Now I'm gonna make my vertical line. Boom. Wait a minute. Mr. Rodriguez, why did you stop there? Well, Mr. Rodriguez, why I stopped there is because there is now an object that is behind my first building. So you can see right here in the city, here's a building right here that's in front of it. The one that's behind it, the lines go behind it and they stop when they get to it. Even though it's gonna go all the way down here, we know that the building ends down here. We can't see it, so we're not gonna address it. Back to you, Mr. Rodriguez. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, for that. Well, if that's the case right here, if the line goes behind this object and I'm not gonna see it go all the way to the bottom, what about this one over here? Well, I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm gonna go right to that and make sure it's parallel. And a good way to make sure your lines are parallel is you go line up with it and just kind of drag it over like that. I'm gonna go right here, and this one, I'm gonna go behind that right there. Now, let's say we know the building's gonna go back behind it and go down like this, but again, this guy covers it up. We're not gonna see it, so I'm not gonna draw it. So, what I want you to do for your buildings is I want you to make 15 of these all across your cityscape here. Now, if you get confused or if you don't quite remember how to go about and do it, just go back and re-watch me drawing these. I'm gonna actually pop this into fast motion while I work on the rest of these here. And yeah, so you can watch that over and over again to help get you a better understanding if it's just a little confusing. But just watch and do what I do as I do, and it'll start to sort of make a little sense here. Now, wait. I've run out of space right here. I can't make 15 buildings. Oh, but you can. I can always make buildings that go behind this. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I still have 8 buildings that I need to draw on here, that I need to address. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make these 3D first before I keep going on. I know that's what you were thinking. You're wondering, Mr. Rodriguez, how are you gonna fit all these buildings? Don't you worry, guys, don't you worry. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing. Remember, I have to go to the same corner, which is my top left corner, and make my lines go in a diagonal direction all the same way. So, here we go. All right, so now I'm going to address the buildings behind here. And this is kind of just the same process, except we're not gonna see the whole front of it. So if I'm gonna add a building right here that's behind these two, there I go. And I can just add a few more. How many did I say I need? 8 more? Geez, why did I make that number so big? I almost think I wanted to challenge you guys or something. Okay, I got my 15 buildings there. Remember, if I ran out of space in the front, I had to work it towards the back here, go behind, and I even, in order to get my 15, I had to go behind those even. So this is gonna be where we're gonna stop for today. Next class, we're gonna deal with drawing windows. So thank you for tuning in, and hey guys, I'll see you next time.